Welcome to Light Novel Sound, where we bring your favorite light novels to life through immersive audiobooks that you can listen to for free. Today, we're diving into Solo Farming in the Tower, a fantasy adventure written by Lee Hak-young and originally published on lightnovelworld.co. This story follows Sejun, an ordinary young man who stumbles into a mysterious dungeon filled with dangerous monsters and untold riches. But when he gets trapped in a hidden area with nothing but a handful of seeds, he must rely on his wits, resourcefulness, and determination to survive. Will he turn the odds in his favor, or will the tower claim yet another victim? If you enjoy this audiobook, please consider supporting the original author by reading Solo Farming in the Tower on lightnovelworld.co. Every bit of support helps keep these amazing stories going. And if you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps us bring more incredible stories to life. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Chapter 41, Receiving a Gift. Why are the Black Minotaurs here? Elka, the Silver Wolf tribe's chief, and two other silver wolves were taken aback by the sight of two Black Minotaurs following Theo. Black Minotaurs were monsters from the 99th floor, and the gap between them and the Silver Wolf tribe that resided on the 85th floor was significant. It was a very unfavorable situation. However, Chief Elka, what should we do? Focus on the request. We have to complete the request to get food from Grid. They had a reason they couldn't back down. The young wolves of the tribe had been waiting for days just for the food they would bring. We must get information about Straw Hat this time, no matter what happens. The Silver Wolves prepared for battle against the Black Minotaurs. Yumio. Wu Cheon-sa protected Theo while Wu Cheon-sam stepped forward. Go easy on them, meow. You mustn't kill them, meow. Yumio. As Wu Cheon-sam was nodding in response to Theo's words. Thump, thump, thump. The Silver Wolves rushed quickly towards Wu Cheon-sam. The only thing they could do in this situation was to make the first move. Elka rushed straight at Wu Cheon-sam while the other two wolves moved to the sides, looking for an opening. Roar! Elka launched his body at Wu Cheon-sam's right thigh. Quaduk! Elka managed to strike too easily. Thump! Thump! The other wolves bit Wu Cheon-sam's left arm and right shoulder. However, Yumio! Wu Cheon-sam's skin was tough and thick enough to resist the wolves' sharp teeth. Wu Cheon-sam, unbothered, grabbed the wolves biting his arm and shoulder and slammed them to the ground. Bang! Crack! Crack! Yumio! Having knocked out two wolves, Wu Cheon-sam threw a punch at Elka. It's dangerous! Elka quickly dodged back, seeing Wu Cheon-sam's attacking fist. But, Yumio! Wu Cheon-sam's next punch was already flying towards Elka. Despite his size, he moved quickly. I can't dodge this. Elka saw Wu Cheon-sam's huge fist approaching him and his life flashed before his eyes. Elka, listen carefully. Although we are currently free mercenaries, moving for money, our ancestors were noble wolves who fought to uphold their pride in the past. You must always remember this and never bring disgrace to the honor of our ancestors. These were words his grandfather always said to him as a child. His grandfather's expression would come alive whenever he said those words, with a smile at the corner of his mouth and brightness in his eyes. Yes, Grandpa. When I grow up, I will also become a noble wolf, fighting to uphold our pride. That's right. That's right. Elka wanted to become a wolf that protected pride more than anyone else, remembering his grandfather's words. However, his dream was shattered when a severe famine struck the tower 100 years ago, drastically worsening the food situation. Many adults of the tribe chose to starve to death by giving up their food to save the young wolves. Elka's grandfather and parents also passed away during that time. Through experiencing the famine, Elka realized that pride alone does not provide food, that talking about pride is like chasing after clouds, and that maintaining pride is a tremendous luxury. So, he had been determinedly working as a freelance mercenary, earning money to fill the stomachs of the wolves in the tribe. Was I a noble wolf? Elka asked himself. The answer came quickly. No. He was a despicable wolf who had thrown away his pride. He had no regrets, just a sense of disappointment. If there is a next life, I want to live once as a noble wolf who upholds pride. Elka closed his eyes with the hope of a next life. Thud. Crack. Elka, who was hit by the fist of Wu Cheon-sam, passed out. Did he really faint, meow? Theo poked Elka's body with his front paw to confirm if he had truly fainted. And then, stamp, stamp, stamp. Theo took out a piece of paper and stamped the paw prints of the 3 fainted silver wolves one by one. The crime of aiming for my life is expensive, meow. I will take revenge with money, meow. Take them, meow. Theo planned to take the wolves to Sejun and properly collect the price for their attempts on his life. Having Wu Cheon-sam and Wu Cheon-sa carry the 3 fainted wolves on their shoulders. Meow meow meow. Theo hummed a little tune as he descended the tower. Pooh ha ha ha. If these guys have no money, they will have to pay with their bodies, meow. If they have no money, they should pay with their bodies. An astonishing learning ability to apply what he learned from Sejun. Even the thoroughness of pre-stamping the contracts. Park Theo, the second-generation Sejun who was becoming more and more like Sejun. Swoosh. Sejun, who had woken up from his sleep, added a new line on the cave wall, completing the 4th line. Sejun greeted the 200th day of him being stranded. It's already been 200 days. Although it was a day no different from yesterday, the number 200 created ripples in Sejun's heart and he was about to fall into depression when Gare. The baby bear announced its arrival. I'm here. And then, squeak, squeak, squeak. The cave became lively with the responses from the baby rabbits. Since today is the 200th day, I need to give 200% of my energy. Thanks to them, Sejun's depression flew away in an instant. Sejun washed his face and prepared breakfast. The breakfast menu was grilled corn. Yesterday, he had eaten the last of the dried sweet potatoes that he used to have for breakfast every day, and had finished all the remaining sweet potatoes. Munch, munch. While Sejun was eating the grilled corn. Squeak. The black rabbit came with a detoxifying green onion and grilled it on the fire. It seemed curious about the taste. Squeak? A moment later, the black rabbit, who had eaten the grilled detoxifying green onion, made a puzzled face. What's different? That's right. It doesn't taste much different from what we usually eat. Sejun, who had tried it first, confirmed that the black rabbit's thoughts were correct. That's how it was. There was no big difference in taste between the D-grade detoxifying green onion and the green onion leaves they had been eating. So, he was planning to sell it through Theo, boasting of its detoxifying effects and its efficacy in stimulating liver function, and kept it in storage. Of course, he thought the taste of the C+ grade detoxifying green onion would be different, but since there was only one of the C+ grade, he decided to keep it for later. In this way, Sejun and the rabbits who had eaten breakfast began their morning farming. Gare. Sejun, who had quickly finished harvesting cherry tomatoes and came up to the ground, was warmly welcomed by the baby bear. Play with me. But. Sorry. I'll play with you later. Sejun had a lot to do. The sickle rabbit was diligently cutting green onion leaves alone in the onion field. Swish, swish, swish. Sejun also joined in and worked hard on cutting green onion leaves. How long had he been cutting them? Phew, did I plant too much? Sejun sighed looking at the pile of green onion leaves he had cut that day. The green onion leaves were piled up to about 1 meter in height. While the shovel rabbit was making the field and the watering rabbits were watering, Sejun was covering the area with green onion leaves. However, the production of green onion leaves exceeded the amount being used, with twice as many leaves being produced each day. Thanks to splitting and planting each time the roots grew, the green onion field quickly expanded from 200 square meter to 400 square meter. They really grow quickly. Sejun commented, seeing that the leaves of the green onions he had first cut had already grown about 10 centimeters. Although he could have left the green onion leaves as they were, he couldn't bear to leave them untouched. Now I can handle 10 black minotaurs. Swish, swish. Sejun said with a big smile as he started cutting green onion leaves again. And when he had almost finished cutting all the green onion leaves, squeak! The black rabbit came up to the surface and called Sejun. It was lunchtime. The lunch menu was grilled fish seasoned with salt. Sejun and the black rabbit sprinkled a pinch of pepper separately and enjoyed it. Munch, munch. Gulp. Gare. Every time the baby bear swallowed a piranha, he exclaimed how delicious it was and ate with joy. After their enjoyable lunchtime. Yawn. Yawn. As Sejun was about to fall asleep for a nap with the black rabbit and the baby bear. The tower's administrator has prepared a gift for you on your 200th day in the tower. A gift? He was a little touched by Eileen's words that they cared for him because it was the 200th day. A quest is generated. Quest: give a magical cherry tomato to Eileen. Reward: secret. If refused, humph. You can't refuse my gift. A secret reward? Is it a surprise? Take a cherry tomato. Sejun completed the quest with high expectations. You have completed the quest. You have acquired Eileen's health soup as a reward for completing the quest. Health soup. The tower's administrator tells you to check the pot in the cave. The tower's administrator says they are going to sleep because they are sleepy from cooking a lot. Thank you. Sejun expressed his gratitude to Eileen. It was the first time he had received something from her. The tower's administrator says to eat it all since they put a lot effort into making it. All right. Sejun responded and went down to the cave. And then, what is this? Inside the pot was a sticky green liquid of unknown substance. Did you make this for me to eat? Sejun frowned as he took a closer look at the liquid. A description appeared. Eileen's health soup. The first dish created by the great black dragon, Eileen Pratani, using various secret elixirs. The taste cannot be guaranteed, but the effect is excellent. If you survive. Upon consumption, all stats increase by 3. Upon consumption, becomes poisoned by C-grade paralysis poison. Upon consumption, becomes poisoned by C-grade acid poison. Chef, the great black dragon, Eileen Pratani. Grade A. An item. If he drinks this and survives, all his stats will increase by 3. Fortunately, Sejun had a C+ grade detoxifying green onion. Let's drink it. He decided to drink it since he wouldn't die from it. The increase of all stats by 3 gave Sejun the courage to make a bold decision. Gulp. Sejun ate the C+ grade detoxifying green onion. You have consumed the detoxifying green onion. For the next hour, you will be able to detoxify any poison of C+ grade or below. Good. He looked at the health soup in the pot with a serious face. This is not food, it's medicine. Brainwashing himself, Sejun blocked his nose, put the pot to his mouth, and drank Eileen's health soup. Gulp. You have consumed Eileen's health soup. You are poisoned by C-rank paralysis poison. You have detoxified it. You are poisoned by C-grade acid poison. You have detoxified it. He easily overcame the crisis caused by the poison. However, gulp, gulp, ooh. The bitter taste of the green health soup quickly brought forth another crisis. He couldn't afford to stop here. He couldn't endure this pain twice. Let's finish it at once. Sejun steeled himself and kept drinking, suppressing the urge to vomit. But, gulp, gulp, ooh. Another crisis hit. As he drank the health soup, the fish head at the bottom of the pot started to slowly appear. Why did they put the whole fish head in there? Screaming inwardly, Sejun tightly closed his eyes to avoid meeting the gaze of the fish head, and continued to swallow the health soup. And then, you have consumed all of Eileen's health soup. All stats increase by 3. Finally, he reaped the fruit of his hard work. Ooh. Shivering from the terrible taste, Sejun resolved to outright refuse if Eileen ever offered a gift again. You guys eat this. Plop. Sejun threw the fish head that was in the pot into the pond. A moment later. You have killed a piranha. You have gained 2 experience points. You have killed a crayfish. You have gained 30 experience points. You have killed a giant electric eel. You have gained 5,000 experience points. A giant electric eel. He didn't know that such a creature was around the pond. It would have been dangerous if it had spewed electricity. You have leveled up. You have gained 1 bonus stat. On the 200th day of being stranded, after eating Eileen's terrible gift, all of his stats increased by 3. And by using the gift, he was able to kill a giant electric eel, a potential threat in the cave, and his level increased. On the other hand, nothing was swimming around in the pond for a few days, so he couldn't eat piranha or crayfish for a while. Chapter 42, Setting Out. Snip, snip. After having Eileen's health soup in the afternoon, which increased all of his stats by 3, Sejun invested all the bonus stats he earned from reaching level 18 into agility. As a result, his agility increased by 4, allowing him to cut through the green onion leaves as fast as a motorized machine. Moreover, with his increased strength, he started to cut 2-3 green onion leaves at once, which significantly reduced the work time compared to the morning. Snip, snip. Kuyong. Kuyong. To move the fast-cut green onion leaves, Sejun ordered the idle baby bear. Of course, honey was required as a reward to make baby bear move. Alright, we finished a row. Let's eat some honey. Kuyong. At Sejun's words, baby bear quickly picked up the glass jar filled with honey and ran towards him. Clunk. Sejun opened the lid of the glass jar. Drip. As he poured a dollop of honey on baby bear's front paw. Lick, lick. Baby bear began to lick and eat the honey eagerly. During this time, Sejun also took a short break. We've come a long way. Sejun looked around with a proud expression. From the 1,000 peanut seeds, 3,000 corn seeds, and 1,000 cherry tomato seeds that were planted in what was once a wasteland, green sprouts began to grow, giving the barren land a hint of green. Of course, the green onion field, where green onions were planted and Sejun hadn't cut yet, was so dense that it could be called a green forest. As Sejun was observing these changes around him, Kuyong, baby bear, who had finished eating his honey, called Sejun. Let's get back to work quickly. If the earth moved by capitalism, for baby bear, it was honeyism. Honey made baby bear move. Snip, snip. At baby bear's urging, Sejun stood up from his seat and began to cut green onions. Was it really necessary for me to do this? Sejun glanced back and then again began cutting onions in a flurry. Kuyong. With the thought of eating more honey, baby bear, brimming with enthusiasm, followed Sejun, picking up green onion leaves at a crazy speed. Huff, huff, huff. Sejun, who was cutting onions as if being chased by the baby bear, panted heavily. Thanks to the baby bear, the onion cutting time was halved compared to the morning. Lick, lick. Compared to Sejun, baby bear seemed to still have energy, happily licking the honey smeared on his front paw. So, Sejun, who finished his work early thanks to baby bear, took a short rest and used the remaining time to plant the remaining corn seeds and cherry tomatoes. Kuyong? The baby bear lingered around Sejun, wondering if he would give more honey. Is there nothing more to do? I need to do this alone. Kuyong. At Sejun's words, the baby bear sat down gloomily on the ground. At that moment, ping! The black rabbit came up to the ground. Little bro, your big brother's here. Kuyong. Baby bear ran towards the black rabbit. Brother, play with me. While the two of them trained and played, Sejun diligently sowed the seeds. Thud. Sejun stabbed the ground with his dagger, placed a seed in the created space, and covered it with soil. As Sejun was carefully planting each seed, you have planted a magical cherry tomato seed. The probability of the magical cherry tomato seed sprouting increases due to the effect of seed sowing LV3. Your job experience increases very slightly. The proficiency of seed sowing LV3 increases very slightly. Due to the effect of proficiency increase LV1, the proficiency of seed sowing LV3 increases by an additional 5%. The proficiency of seed sowing LV3 is filled and the level increases. The level of seed sowing increased to 4. Just as harvesting level 4 had a new effect, seed sowing also had a new effect. Job skill, seed sowing LV4. The chance of seed sprouting when planted increases slightly. The chance of being harmed by pests decreases very slightly. Pests? Bugs? Sejun, who had never seen bugs in the tower so far, was confused. What's this, making me uneasy? Surely no real bugs will appear? Sejun put his discomfort behind him and planted another seed. Theo made Wu Cheonsam and Wu Cheonsa to wait at the entrance of the 40th floor merchant route and went down to the 38th floor of the tower. He wanted to monopolize the attention of humans. All attention must be on me, meow. 4 hunters, the massive body of the black minotaurs instilled fear, not interest, but Theo was cautious just in case. Theo thought that since humans loved him, a fierce beast, they could also love the black minotaurs. Theo was completely misjudging his charm point. I'm here, meow. Upon arriving at the 38th floor of the tower, Theo announced his arrival to the waiting hunters. Oh! He's finally here. Nearly 100 hunters, who had been waiting for Theo for several days, welcomed him. After learning that Theo had appeared late at the previous trading location, the hunters patiently waited this time, and even hunters from other guilds joined to buy the magical cherry tomatoes, significantly increasing their number. Phew, so many humans have come to trade with me, meow. Theo strutted forward without hesitation. As Theo walked forward, the hunters made way for him, like the parting of the sea. Today, I will auction 3,600 D-grade magical cherry tomatoes, 400 each, meow. Theo, standing in the midst of the humans, declared confidently. With Theo's storage capacity having tripled, he was able to store as many as 3,600 cherry tomatoes, even with a third of the space filled with green onions. There was space for about 400 more, but that space was reserved for the crops to be delivered to Sejun's family. What? 3,600? The hunters were excited by Theo's announcement. It was pleasing to them because the demand was overflowing outside the tower and they were having difficulty handling it, but now the supply increased. 120 tower coins for 400. As soon as the auction began, the starting price for 1 grade D magical cherry tomato started at 0.3 tower coins. 160 tower coins for 400. At Michael's instruction, Thomas, the head of Gaggle's research team, promptly raised the price to 0.4 tower coins each. However, 170 tower coins for 400. 180 tower coins for 400. 200 tower coins for 400. The hunters here were all acting on behalf of some of the world's wealthiest people. Their financial resources were nothing to scoff at. The auction heated up. 320 tower coins for 400. Thomas, who had instructions from his boss to secure the magical tomato at all costs, won the first auction at a price of 0.8 tower coins each. All right. Other hunters looked resentfully at the cheering Thomas. It was because the price had jumped too high because of Thomas. Subsequent auctions continued with a large quantity maintaining a price of 0.75 tilde 0.85 tower coins each. Out of these, Thomas bought 2,000 pieces. As it wasn't his own money, Thomas was spending freely. Sold out, meow. Thanks to Thomas, who splurged with company money, Theo achieved record-breaking sales this time. A whopping 2,870 tower coins. An incredible sum. Sejun will praise me, meow. The thought of receiving praise from Sejun while enjoying treats on his lap made Theo feel good. Those who want to take pictures with me, line up, meow. In a good mood, Theo provided excellent service to the female hunters with his broad smiles throughout the photo session. And then, give my reward, meow. He also made sure to receive a proper rewards. After the photo session, let's trade, human, meow. Theo called Kim Dong-sik and proposed a deal. I'll do it. Kim Dong-sik, who had failed to secure the magical tomatoes due to the tycoon's reckless bids, accepted without even hearing the conditions. The conditions are the same as before, meow. The price is 200 magical tomatoes. Deliver these to Park Sejun's family, meow. Theo got Kim Dong-sik's signature on the contract and handed over 50 tower coins and 50 each of agility carrots, stamina corn, and magical cherry tomatoes. What? Kim Dong-sik was greatly surprised by the options of the crops handed over by Theo. Carrot that enhances agility and improves vision, corn that increases stamina and improves skin elasticity. It was a big shock to Kim Dong-sik, who thought only magical cherry tomatoes were available. If this is known to the world, it will become chaotic again. Kim Dong-sik realized this was an opportunity. Theo, from now on, I'll deliver the crops to Sejun's family every month without a fee and pay 50 tower coins. In return, give me a chance to buy other crops. Meow. I'll think about it and tell you next time, meow. Theo postponed his decision to ask Sejun and decide. And so, Theo, having perfectly completed Sejun's errand, returned to the entrance of the 40th floor merchant route where the black minotaurs were waiting. Munch munch. Wu Cheon-sam and Wu Cheon-sa were munching on green onion leaves and keeping an eye on the wolves. Although they were supposed to be keeping an eye on them, but Wu Cheon-sam and Wu Cheon-sa found it too bothersome, so they would knock out the wolves by hitting them on the back of the head whenever they woke up. Let's go back up now. Moo. Moo. Feeling gloomy at the thought of only being able to eat one meal per day if they go back now, Wu Cheon-sam and Wu Cheon-sa reluctantly got up on their feet. On the contrary, Theo's steps were incredibly light, excited at the thought of being able to climb up on Sejun's lap again. Meow meow meow. Singing to himself, Theo led the 2 black minotaurs and 3 wolves towards the 99th floor of the tower. Just then, him? While they were moving, Wu Cheon-sam suddenly scratched his head. He felt like he was forgetting something. What the hell is Wu Cheon-sam doing? The Minotaur King grew angry as there was still no news from Wu Cheon-sam, despite waiting for a long time. Could it be? Did he enter another monster's territory while searching for grass? He worried that this naive guy might have entered the territory of the red-haired beasts or the poisonous bees in search of delicious grass. No. What if he went there? A terrifying scene crossed the Minotaur King's mind. That place was inhabited by dreadful creatures who would leave nothing behind, not even a corpse. Is it because of my command? The Minotaur King felt guilty, thinking that his order to fetch grass could have led to Wu Cheon-sam's death. He never thought that Wu Cheon-sam was eating delicious grass 3 times a day. Feeling guilty, the Minotaur King decided to personally go out to find Wu Cheon-sam's corpse. The Minotaur King gathered his subordinates Wu Illinois, Minotaur 1, to Wu Beck, Minotaur 100, and ordered them to guard the waypoint. And then, thud, he began his search for Wu Cheon-sam. Phew! On the 205th day of being stranded, Sejun sighed as he looked at the piles of green onion leaves, each measuring over 1 m in height. There were just too many of them. Since each green onion root multiplied every time it was split and planted, the green onion field kept expanding, but there was no one to eat the green onion leaves. The production rate was overwhelmingly higher than the consumption rate. It'll get better once Wu Cheon-sam and Wu Cheon-sa return. Even then, it would only slow down the rate at which the pile of green onion leaves was growing. It was already more than what 2 black minotaurs could handle. Just then, Kuang! Baby Bear jumped into the pile of green onion leaves. He seemed to like it because it was fluffy. If you like it, you can take it to use when you sleep. Kuang? At Sejun's words, Baby Bear looked delighted and asked, "Can I also take Mom's share too?" "Yeah." Just as the mother crimson giant bear and baby bear were about to take 10 piles of green onion leaves to use as bedding. Thunk, thunk. A black minotaur, similar in size to the mother crimson giant bear, came charging towards Sejun's green onion field with bloodshot eyes. TL notes. Previously, I changed the names of the minotaurs, for example, Minotaur 1303, etc. As more of them are introduced or mentioned in future chapters, should I continue using literal names like Minotaur 1, Minotaur 2, and so on? Or should I use Konglish names like Wu Cheon Sam or Wu Cheon Sa, etc.? Chapter 43, Dine and Dash. Thud. The Minotaur King, having left the Black Minotaur territory, started to run quickly. As the boss of the 99th floor of the tower, the Minotaur King could not leave the waypoint for more than 1 hour a month. Huff. This is where Wu Cheon Sam's Minotaur 1003 scent is coming from. The Minotaur King followed Wu Cheon Sam, Minotaur 1003, scent at a rapid pace. While moving, following the scent. Moo! What? Why do I smell Wu Cheon Sa, Minotaur 1004, with Wu Cheon Sam, Minotaur 1003, scent? Could it be? Have they fallen for each other? Those rascals! That explains everything. Why they hadn't been coming back into the territory for days. It was clear that Wu Cheon Sam, Minotaur 1003, must have seduced Wu Cheon Sa, Minotaur 1004, with delicious grass. Now, there was no Minotaur King who was worrying about his subordinate. There was only a Minotaur King who was cursing the couple. Moo! The Minotaur King roared in anger and again moved fiercely following the scent. Just then, huff, huff. Another scent mixed into the Minotaur King's nose. It was one of the delicious grass scents the Minotaur King had ordered Wu Cheon Sam, Minotaur 1003, to find. And the scents of his subordinates followed the direction of the grass scent. Got them! These rascals! The Minotaur King quickly rushed towards where the scent was coming from. As he followed the scents of his subordinates and the grass became more intense. And before the Minotaur King's eyes, a spectacle unfolded. A green onion forest appeared in a place that used to be a wasteland. It was clear those two rascals were in there. They're eating delicious grass while also breeding. Trying to have both. At least give one up for me. Moo! Thump! Thump! Although the red-haired beast was visible next to the green onion field, the Minotaur King, who was only thinking of punishing the happy black Minotaur couple, didn't notice. The Minotaur King, losing his sanity, ran towards the green onion field. Tower's 99th floor boss Black Minotaur King. Minotaur King! Sejun was startled, seeing the giant black Minotaur charging towards his green onion field. Roar! The mother crimson giant bear quickly sent baby bear to Sejun and blocked the Minotaur King's path. The Minotaur King may be the strongest being on the 99th floor, but a promise was a promise. The mother crimson giant bear risked her life as she had promised to protect this place. Just then, rustle! Rustle! The Minotaur King was frantically searching through the green onion field as if he had no interest in them. But when he found nothing, munch! Munch! He started chewing on the green onion leaves without even cutting them. Munch! Munch! The delicious smell of grass filled the Minotaur King's mouth. And it had a soft yet chewy texture. Moo tilde! The Minotaur King was so happy he couldn't control his excitement and roared cheerfully. He then sat on the ground and began to pluck the onions by their roots and eat them. Munch! Munch! In an instant, about a quarter of the green onion field disappeared. What's going on? Roar? Grr? Peep? Bang? Sejun and the animals looked at the Minotaur King with curiosity. Fear of the Minotaur King had completely disappeared. It was just a cow. A very large cow that loved green onions. And a while later, Minotaur King seemed regretful that he couldn't eat more. He got up from his spot, clutching a handful of green onions, and ran back in the direction of the waypoint. That's the boss of the 99th floor. Sejun looked despondently at Minotaur King as he ran away. He regretted not thinking of going to the waypoint sooner. I should have gone to him with green onions sooner. But now there was no need for that. Minotaur King made a mistake. He destroyed Sejun's green onion field, and even ate without paying. He ruined my field and even had the audacity to dine and dash. When he spoke with Wu Cheon-sam, Minotaur 1003, it was clear that Black Minotaurs valued a warrior's honor. Undoubtedly, the Minotaur King would do the same. Or even more so, as the leader of the Black Minotaurs, he would prioritize honor above all else. Sejun began calculating in his head with a sinister smile. A good idea came to his mind, to turn the tables. Sejun wanted to rush to the waypoint right now to negotiate with the Minotaur King, but he decided to wait for Theo, who could translate for a smooth negotiation with Minotaur King. Eileen was also capable of translating, but it was a bit worrisome as Eileen sometimes suddenly falls asleep. Sejun began to clean up the green onion field that the Minotaur King had ruined. Although it was undoubtedly an annoying task, there was no annoyance visible on Sejun's face. He. If anything, he seemed in good spirits, humming a tune and smiling brightly. I should first ask Minotaur King to let me use the waypoint. He. And then? Sejun thought about what to demand from Minotaur King while working tirelessly. The day after Minotaur King had made a mess of the green onion field. In the morning, Sejun quickly finished harvesting the cherry tomatoes and began to clean up the green onion field that he hadn't finished cleaning up yesterday. He also started cutting green onion leaves. Snip. Snip. The task of cutting the green onion leaves ended quickly. Thanks to Minotaur King, who had removed a quarter of the green onion field yesterday, Sejun had less work to do. It's a bit disappointing. Sitting down after cutting all the green onion leaves and finishing his morning work, Sejun muttered. Gare. The baby bear, who had helped pile up the green onion leaves, brought the glass bottle filled with honey. He wanted honey. All right. With a click, Sejun opened the lid of the glass bottle. Pop. Baby bear quickly extended his front paw. Glug. Sejun carefully poured 1 dollop of honey. Lick lick. While Sejun was resting, watching baby bear enjoy licking the honey. Bountiful Harvest LV1 is activated. Bountiful Harvest applied on the 70 square meter of green onion field. Harvest yields will increase by 50% for the next week. On the green onion field. Thump thump. The rough sound of burgeoning life reached Sejun's ears. Hey! Sejun quickly looked at the green onion field. The green onion leaves in the golden field were growing back rapidly. He took back his earlier regret. Sejun could now harvest the green onion leaves 3 times a day from the green onion field blessed with bountiful harvest. And, Kukui! The baby bear, who now gets to eat more honey, raised his hands and cheered. Hooray! 75th floor of the tower. Theo arrived at the shopping area with the Black Minotaurs. And on his way to the general store to buy the glass jars that Sejun had asked for, the path was crowded with merchants today. I have to be careful to avoid them, meow. Theo thought he should be careful not to get stepped on by the merchants' feet. Then, whoosh. The merchants parted on both sides, making way for Theo. What, meow? Theo was taken aback. Theo, being small, always had to dodge between the legs of the merchants so as not to be stepped on, but today, for some reason, the tall merchants did not block his path. He. They must have recognized me as an intermediate wandering merchant, meow. With his chin held high, Theo confidently walked into the general store with the Black Minotaurs. As Theo entered the general store. Did you just see that? Yep. Am I seeing things correctly? Wow. Seeing a Black Minotaur here. But how did they get into the shopping area? As far as I know, there's no wandering Black Minotaur merchant. Perhaps they're a freelance mercenary? Wow, that's amazing. A wandering merchant who hired a Black Minotaur as a freelance mercenary. I want to see them at least once. Right. We should get to know such a big-shot wandering merchant. None of the merchants knew that the employer of the Black Minotaur had passed right by them. Inside the general store. Thud. Theo put 20 glass jars on the counter. Huff. Huff. Wu Cheon-sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wu Cheon-sa, Minotaur 1004, standing behind Theo, carrying the 3 wolves on their shoulders, were staring down at the shopkeeper. How much, meow? 1 glass jar costs 0.15 tower coins, so the total would be 3 tower coins. The shopkeeper said in a voice full of fear. Give me a discount, meow. Theo attempted his first haggle. Then, I'll give them to you for 1.5 tower coins. What, meow? Theo was momentarily taken aback by the shopkeeper's immediate 50% discount. He is trying to make a good impression on me, a intermediate wandering merchant, meow. Although the price was reduced considerably, Theo still needed to haggle twice more as Sejun had instructed. Give me another discount, meow. Again. At Theo's second haggle, the shopkeeper replied with a voice on verge of crying. Or else. No. I'll give it to you for 0.5 tower coins. The shopkeeper shouted out with a pale face. Selling each jar at a loss, considering the actual cost was 0.1 tower coin each, but he didn't want to end up as a corpse on the shoulders of those black minotaurs. What, meow? I was about to say I'd leave but... Theo felt something was off but attempted to haggle one more time. Give me another discount, meow. I was foolish and didn't understand. Just take them. Please spare my life. The shopkeeper fell to the floor and begged. Thanks, meow. Theo, looking puzzled, gathered up the 20 glass jars and left the general store. As expected, Park Sejun's words are always true, meow. Theo once again realized the greatness of Sejun. And when Theo tried to haggle 3 more times at the blacksmith shop. Just take them, please. Thank you, meow. They even let him draw equipment for free at the blacksmith shop. However, there's nothing that catches my attention, meow. Still, since it was free, he just picked something randomly. Let's go, meow. Having finished his tasks, Theo used the merchant route again to ascend to the 99th floor of the tower with the black minotaurs. In the shopping area swept through by Theo and the minotaurs. Rumors spread that a black minotaur was threatening a cat merchant, establishing a freelance mercenary contract, and causing havoc, making the conditions for hiring a black minotaur as a freelance mercenary more stringent. When Sejun came down to eat dinner after cutting green onion leaves 3 times in the bountiful harvest green onion field. Hey! The black rabbit was nowhere to be seen. Sejun realized he hadn't seen the black rabbit since lunchtime. Peep! Pia! The other white rabbits also noticed that the black rabbit had disappeared and began searching for it. At that moment, splash! The black rabbit emerged, releasing the breath it had been holding underwater. Hey! I'm sure I checked the pond too. As Sejun was puzzling over this. Pyang! The black rabbit, having taken a breath, pointed to a hole in the pond. Upon closer inspection, the hole in the pond had considerably widened. Pyang! The black rabbit imitated hitting the wall with the end of its hammer. I broke it. After the pond poisoning incident, when no piranhas or crayfish came near the pond, the black rabbit went out through the hole in the pond in search of prey. Hey! That's dangerous. Though the pond water was diluted and not toxic, Sejun, knowing that there were dangerous monsters like giant electric eels outside, besides piranhas and crayfish, was angry. But, Pyang! The black rabbit argued back. I am also a warrior. Warriors need to get stronger. It felt a duty to protect Sejun, its family, and the field as a warrior. However, the black rabbit knew. It was the weakest here. Only stronger than Sejun. Sejun was unaware that he was being treated as the weakest. So, when the piranhas and crayfish, which gave experience points, disappeared, the black rabbit felt anxious and ventured outside the pond. The fact that Sejun mentioned a giant electric eel outside the pond also played a part. Black rabbit, you. Sejun realized that he had been completely ignorant of the black rabbit's feelings. Did you want to eat meat that badly? Pyang. The black rabbit thought Sejun understood its intentions and nodded its head. They were like two people dreaming different dreams in the same bed. On 206th day of being stranded. Despite living together for almost half a year, Sejun and the black rabbit still had misunderstandings. I have translated the names of the minotaurs in this chapter using both terms. If this does not affect the reading experience, I will continue translating in this way. Otherwise, I will decide on one of the options I mentioned in the based on the feedback received. So, once again, please let me know if I should continue in the above-mentioned way or choose only one way. On another note, we have come to know that Minotaur 1004, Wu Cheonsa, is a female. I have made the necessary changes in the previous translations to reflect that. Lastly, I have one more thing for which I would like to get your feedback. It is the use of the Miao dialect for Theo. Should I use Naya instead of Miao? In anime, this type of dialect is often expressed as Naya, which might be a better way. It would be great if you could let me know your thoughts on this as well. Chapter 44, Searching for the Electric Eel. What should I do? Minotaur King, who had returned to the waypoint yesterday and fell asleep in a good mood, fell into contemplation with a serious expression as he looked at the withered green onion root in his hand. I'm sure there were other beings with red fur beast in the onion field yesterday. And the green onions were neatly planted. In other words, someone had been growing green onions. He, a great warrior and the leader of all black minotaurs, had stolen someone else's things. What if the other black minotaurs find out? There was no shame like this. Gulp. Matilda. Minotaur King eliminated the only evidence, the withered green onion, by putting it in his mouth. It tastes good. I'll pay the price in a month. Minotaur King decided to go back there in a month, when he could leave the waypoint and pay for the grass he had eaten first. Then, he would pay the price and eat more grass. This time he could not eat properly due to the 1-hour limit. But what should he pay? Minotaur King fell into thought about what to give as payment. Sejun had a detailed reward list, but Minotaur King didn't know that. Gare. Baby Bear woke up Sejun and the rabbits with a strong growl. All right. Sejun got up energetically and added another mark to the wall, starting the 207th day morning. Let's eat breakfast. Sejun called the rabbits and had breakfast. The breakfast menu was carrots and steamed corn. Phew! Squeak! Squeak! But the faces of Sejun and the rabbits were as gloomy as could be. The carrots and corn they were eating now were the last ones. The first harvested carrots were already eaten a long time ago, and the carrots they were eating recently were those Sejun had harvested were grown from planting the carrots' tops. But even that, the carrot they're eating now is the last. And the corn, too, is the last. From the day after tomorrow, they would have to eat only green onions and cherry tomatoes. They couldn't catch piranhas and crayfish from the pond anymore, and the fastest growing crop, potatoes, also required around 2 weeks to be ready. It seemed like a hungry period was coming. Gulp. Munch. Thus, Sejun and the rabbits, who had a gloomy breakfast, started their morning farming. Squeak. Today, the black rabbit also helped earnestly with the work. The black rabbit's will to go outside the pond was so strong that Sejun had to convince the black rabbit to only go out when he was with him. And Sejun and the black rabbit agreed to explore outside the pond for 2 hours after lunchtime. Squeak! Squeak! In order to make up for the 2-hour gap when Sejun was away from the work, the black rabbit replaced the mother rabbit in removing cherry tomatoes from the branch that Sejun had harvested. Instead, the mother rabbit joined the green onion cutting work and worked in the onion field with the sickle rabbit. And the reason why the mother rabbit could join the onion cutting work was because the baby rabbits had started to help with the farming little by little. Squack! Squeak! Squeak! As farmers' blood was flowing in them, the baby rabbits were finding fun in farming, following their older brothers and experiencing the job. Squeak. You harvested 6 well-ripened magical cherry tomatoes at once. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV4 has increased slightly. Thanks to the effect of proficiency increase LV1, your proficiency in harvesting LV4 has increased by an additional 5%. You gained 136 experience points. 4D plus grade and 2D grade. He could calculate what he harvested just by looking at the experience points. The proportion of plus grade crops he harvested was gradually increasing. His job experience seemed to be almost filled. As Sejun was wondering when his job rank would rise, while harvesting the cherry tomatoes. Buzz. He noticed the poisonous honeybees busily moving in groups. What's going on? Sejun turned his head in the direction the bees were heading. Here! In that direction were the tomatoes he had planted for his previous job quest, now blooming. Of the 1,000 tomato seeds he had planted, only 621 had grown properly. Is it already time to harvest? Saying that, Sejun's gaze turned to the potato field. Since he planted the potatoes the day after he planted the tomatoes, the timing was similar. Given that he would run out of corn tomorrow, Sejun was more interested in the potato field. Snip! Snip! With the thought of soon being able to harvest the potatoes, Sejun energetically harvested the cherry tomatoes. After finishing the cherry tomato harvest and heading to the surface. Snip! Snip! The mother rabbit, now in a slightly fancier apron, was cutting the onion leaves with sharper and larger scissors. Yesterday, the mother rabbit also had her second awakening. Thanks to this, Sejun was able to precisely understand the mother rabbit's abilities. The mother rabbit's abilities were all-purpose. During this second awakening, all the equipment in the mother rabbit's apron had improved. Sejun also joined the onion field working group, cutting the onion leaves and planting the newly grown onion roots. The effects of the bountiful harvest didn't only accelerate the growth of the onion leaves but also the growth of the roots. In a bountiful harvest period, the speed at which the roots grew was incredibly fast. At this rate, we should be able to restore the field Minotaur King ruined within 5 days. Just as Sejun finished cutting all the onion leaves. Thump! The black rabbit came up to the surface. Today's task wasn't to transport piranhas but to move the prepared lunch. The lunch menu was grilled green onions and cherry tomatoes. Sejun and the rabbits ate lunch silently. And then, chewing. Unable to eat piranhas, the baby bear filled its stomach with green onion leaves. In an instant, it had consumed about 10 large green onion leaves. You eat well, don't you? Seeing baby bear eat the green onion leaves so well, Sejun wondered if all the green onion leaves he had taken home had also disappeared into the crimson giant bear's belly. You can take more onion leaves if you need them. Growl. Sejun's words prompted baby bear to nod vigorously. You're good, not picky about food. Shoosh. Growl. In a happy mood, Sejun stroked baby bear's belly. Baby bear, feeling comfortable, laid down and began to eat the green onions. In the midst of this, Sejun suddenly wondered. Why hasn't it grown much recently? Based on the growth rate so far, baby bear should have grown over 5 meters, but it was still around 3 meters in size. In fact, it seemed even smaller than before. It's not like it's lacking food. Despite this thought, the baby bear seemed to be full of energy these days. While Sejun was worrying about baby bear. Snooze. Baby bear fell asleep while chewing on green onions, and Sejun also leaned against baby bear's body and fell asleep. And snore. After lunch, the sleepy black rabbit also climbed onto Sejun's lap and fell asleep. Squeak. The black rabbit, refreshed from its nap, woke Sejun up. It was time to explore outside the pond. First, eat a detoxifying green onion. Squeak. At Sejun's words, the black rabbit chewed and ate a detoxifying green onion. This was to prepare for any potential poisoning. Next, check the rope. Squeak. The black rabbit checked the rope tied around its waist. The rope was a safety device. If the black rabbit pulled the rope twice, Sejun would pull the rope. "Here's a weapon." Sejun handed over a spear he had made by attaching his dagger to a short stick and adjusted it to fit the black rabbit's body. In the water, the spear was more useful than the hammer. Splash! With the rope and the spear, the black rabbit entered the pond. "Be careful." Squeak! The black rabbit responded and exited through the hole in the pond. Sejun prayed for the black rabbit's safety as he unreeled the rope. Outside the pond was so dark that you couldn't see in front of you. But the black rabbit, having been here once before, waited without panicking. Then, little by little, its eyes became accustomed to the darkness and it began to see ahead. If it had been total darkness, this wouldn't have been of any help, but there was a faint yellow light down below which made it possible. Yesterday, when it was getting used to the darkness and began to explore around, a commotion happened outside, so it had to go back into the pond. "Let's go now." The black rabbit kicked forcefully towards the bottom. The target was the yellow light. As it moved a little, the flow of the water was strong towards the light, making the rabbit approach it more quickly. As it descended, the water temperature became colder. And, "What is all this?" When it arrived where the yellow light was, it saw a massive amount of piranha and crayfish corpses carried by the current. The yellow light was flowing from the other side of the piles of bodies. As the black rabbit cleared away the piles of bodies and went forward, it saw the corpse of a giant eel that glowed bright gold from its head. The eel's body was so long that it seemed like it would be the same length as 25 green onions leaves were connected end to end. So that's it. Black Rabbit was certain that the eel was the giant electric eel that Sejun mentioned. Flutter, flutter. As Black Rabbit approached the head of the giant electric eel, he stabbed it with a spear. Thud. After slicing its flesh, it dug inside and pop! Black Rabbit found a fist-sized golden bead. Uncle would love this. Plop. Black Rabbit happily carried the bead and emerged from the eel's head. Black Rabbit strapped the spear on its back and pulled the rope twice, holding the bead tightly, entrusting itself to Sejun's hand while clutching the bead with all its might. Whir. Whir. The rope was pulled and Black Rabbit was quickly pulled up. At some point, Black Rabbit lost consciousness. It had been holding its breath for too long. It's the signal. Feeling two tugs from the rope, Sejun began to pull the rope. He had to pull the rope as quickly as possible, but gently so as not to snap the rope. After about 2 minutes of strenuous pulling, a golden light began to appear from the other side of the pond hole. What's that? Sejun, although surprised, continued to pull until Black Rabbit, holding the golden light, arrived in the pond. Black Rabbit! Sejun rushed into the pond to pull out Black Rabbit. He then removed the bead and the rope from him. Huff! Just as he was about to give Black Rabbit artificial respiration. Thack! Ah! Black Rabbit's paw blocked Sejun's mouth. PSH! Black Rabbit looked at Sejun with a frown. What were you doing, Uncle? No. I was just trying to save you. Sejun felt somewhat upset. PSH! Regaining his consciousness, Black Rabbit got up with a lot of energy. Then it picked up the golden bead that Sejun had thrown and handed it to Sejun. What's this? Sejun took the golden bead that Black Rabbit handed him. You have obtained the core of the electric eel. Sejun had seen the same message when he removed it from Black Rabbit's arms earlier, but he hadn't checked it. The core of a giant electric eel. You found a giant electric eel. As Sejun looked in surprise. PSH. The Black Rabbit raised its head proudly. I am strong. Although Sejun didn't understand how finding the corpse of a giant electric eel equated to strength, but he first checked the options of the core. Giant electric eel's core. This is the core of a giant electric eel that lived for 1,000 years in the underground lake of the 99th floor of the tower. It emits light containing the power of electricity. Upon consumption, you can learn the skill, Rain Thunder. Usage restriction, magic power 10 or more and the person who defeated the giant electric eel, Park Sejun. Grade, A. The core could even grant a skill. The mysteries of the tower were indeed endless. However, I can't eat it right now. Sejun's magic power wasn't enough to consume it yet. Here, take this. Sejun handed the golden bead to Black Rabbit and started massaging its shoulders. Squeak! Black Rabbit tilted its head at Sejun's sudden change in behavior. Why is Uncle acting so strange all of a sudden? Black Rabbit, I'd like a piece of eel, please. Sejun wanted to eat eel. So, it was decided that the dinner would be grilled eel, cooked from the flesh of the giant electric eel that Black Rabbit had brought back. And just as the grilled eel was almost ready, I'm back, meow. Theo returned with great results. TL notes. First of all, I've decided to stick with meow instead of changing it to Naya based on the feedback. If you prefer Naya, you can read it in the manhwa translation, as the manhwa translator has chosen Naya. Regarding the names of the minotaurs, for now I'll continue using both names as I did in the. However, I might change it later depending on their usage in future chapters. Chapter 45, showing the dignity of the Great Black Dragon. Sejun's dinner was postponed due to Theo's arrival. It was because of the wolves that Theo brought. Theo, why did you bring these wolves? I'm going to make these wolves pay for threatening my life, meow. But I'm not sure how much I should take, meow. President Park, you decide, meow. Theo took out the contract signed by the wolves and handed it to Sejun. Ah, that's not hard. Sejun nonchalantly wrote the reward Theo would receive on the contract. 10,000 tower coins. Oh, is my life worth that much, meow? Theo was moved by Sejun's words. He couldn't believe Sejun valued his life so highly. Of course. You are the representative in charge of our farm's distribution. He. As expected, Park Sejun can't do without me, meow. Theo hurriedly emptied his bag because there was only about a month left for his representative time. Thud. From the bag, poured out the money he received from the trade, the glass bottles he acquired from running errands, and the seasoning and coffee mixes he received after taking pictures. This time, he took a lot of pictures, so he had about 30 hours worth of goods. 2,870 tower coins. How many more hours do I get as representative, meow? Theo asked Sejun, who was counting tower coins, with a voice full of anticipation. The sales were at an all-time high, so he had high hopes. There will be no more additional hours for you as a representative from now on. What do you mean, meow? Theo was shocked at Sejun's words. He was not going to give him additional hours as a representative. Are you trying to kick me out, meow? President Park, that's mean, meow. I work well, meow. Sob. Theo cried out sorrowfully, hugging Sejun's leg. You're kicking me out. What about my knee? He had to be with Park Sejun's knee. Without Park Sejun's knee, he would be nothing more than a lowly wandering cat merchant. The thought of having to work as a wandering merchant alone again made everything go dark. Meow. Theo's ears drooped in sadness. However, it was a misunderstanding on Theo's part. What are you talking about? Why would I kick out a capable wandering merchant like you, Theo? You'll continue being the representative, so there's no need for additional hours. I appoint you as the official representative of our farm's distribution. Here's your incentive. Sejun handed 145 tower coins to Theo. Teach, thank you, meow. I'll work harder from now on, meow. Theo wiped away the tears that had welled up in his eyes and cried out. And to celebrate your promotion to representative, I'll make you president for a day. President? President Theo? That sounds enticing, meow. Even though he just became representative, Theo found himself more attracted to the title of president. I'll become president, meow. Theo, who started to aim higher as soon as he was promoted to representative. But what's this smell, meow? It smells delicious, meow. The ambitious Theo, dreaming of greater power, sniffed the scent, nose twitching. As expected, Theo, a fish lover, could not miss the smell of grilled eel. Let's handle the rest tomorrow and eat dinner now. Sejun, who hadn't eaten dinner, was hungry. He tightly tied the front and hind legs of the unconscious wolves with ropes made with green onion leaves. And then, tell Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, not to go back today and to watch the wolves here. Tell them I'll provide snacks and tomorrow's breakfast. The reason he asked them to stay behind was that he also wanted to bring them along when he went to get the reward from Minotaur King tomorrow. Understood, meow. Leave it to President Theo, meow. When Theo loudly conveyed Sejun's message to the black minotaurs. Moo! Moo! Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, accepted Sejun's proposal with joyful sounds. They had no reason to refuse when they would continue to be fed. Okay. Let's eat now. You guys can eat the leaves from the green onion field. Moo! Moo! Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, carried the wolves on their shoulders and moved to the green onion field. Sejun and Theo also went down to the cave for dinner. Squeak! 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 The rabbits, who had been waiting for Sejun, urged him to hurry up due to their hunger. Sorry. Did you wait a lot? Let's first eat the detoxifying green onion. Munch, munch. Sejun, Theo, and the rabbits each ate a grilled detoxifying green onion. There might still be poison left in the eel. Done eating? Then enjoy. As soon as Sejun's enjoy finished, the rabbits began to eat the eel hurriedly. Theo, wait a little. Sejun put an raw eel on the fire for Theo. Understood, meow. I can wait, meow. Theo, mesmerized by the sight of the eel cooking, wiped the drool flowing from his mouth and responded. Sejun ate one detoxifying green onion and picked up a piece of grilled eel seasoned with salt. The skin was well cooked and the flesh was glistening and golden brown. It cooked nicely. Sejun put the well-cooked grilled eel in his mouth. You have consumed the flesh of the poisoned giant electric eel. A small amount of poison remains in the flesh of the giant electric eel. You are poisoned by an E-grade paralysis poison. Detoxifite. You are poisoned by an E-grade acid poison. Detoxifite. E-grade? Sejun, who had eaten a D+ grade detoxifying green onion, saw the message and felt relieved. Then he closed his eyes and savored the taste of the eel. Crunch. The eel's skin broke with a crispy sound, first waking the taste buds on his tongue with the salty taste of the salt sprinkled on the skin, and then the eel's flesh powerfully swam between Sejun's teeth, providing a chewy texture. And then, gulp. The more he chewed, the rich and heavy umami taste of the eel dominated his mouth. Gulp. Sejun hurriedly took another piece of grilled eel and put it in his mouth. He didn't want to break the flow of this rich and savory taste. So, while Sejun was flipping Theo's grilled eel so it wouldn't burn and eating salted grilled eel in between, Theo's grilled eel was completely cooked. Now, enjoy. I will enjoy it, meow. Who? Theo blew on the grilled eel to cool it down quickly. It seemed like it would take a while for Theo, with his cat's tongue, to eat. In the meantime, choo-choo. Sejun sprinkled a pinch of pepper on the eel he was going to eat. The salted grilled eel was delicious, but Sejun needed pepper to reduce the greasiness of the eel. Sejun and the animals, having eaten their fill of grilled eel, sighed. I can't eat anymore. I'm full, meow. Squeak. 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 Everyone's lips were glistening with oil from the eel. Let's have dessert. Everyone, feeling lethargic from the greasy meal, hurriedly ate sweet and sour cherry tomatoes for dessert and went to bed. And lick. Lick. The sounds of the rabbits and Theo licking the oil from their fur around their mouths could be heard throughout the night. Elka, who had been knocked unconscious several times, quietly opened his eyes. Sororong. Sororong. He could see two black minotaurs dozing in front of him. I need to escape now. Nibble. Nibble. Elka carefully gnawed the rope binding his feet. And when he hurriedly tried to wake his colleagues and escape, roar! A giant shadow loomed over them. The next morning, roar! Whine! Whimper! The roar of Mother Crimson Giant Bear and the howling of the wolves woke Sejun from his sleep. What's going on? As Sejun hurriedly ascended to the surface. Groan! The Mother Crimson Giant Bear was suppressing two wolves with her front paws and roar! One was being held down by the baby bear, who had climbed onto the wolf's back and was strangling its neck. It was a demonstration of overwhelming physical strength. What's going on? Wuchen Sam, Minotaur 1003, and Wuchen Sa, Minotaur 1004, who had let the wolves escape, approached, scratching their heads. We dozed off for a bit, meow. Theo, hanging onto Sejun's legs, replied. It seemed that while the two were sleeping, the wolves had chewed the ropes and tried to escape, but Mother Crimson Giant Bear and her cub caught them. Grr! Baby Bear was drooling, looking at the wolves. Can I eat them? No. Sejun had to collect the money for targeting Theo's life from the wolves. Growl. The baby bear looked greatly disappointed when Sejun told him not to eat the prey he had hunted. It's what I caught. Instead, let's have grilled eel. Growl. At Sejun's call to eat, the baby bear's head turned quickly. Food. Sejun had the rabbits bring over the leftover grilled eel from the previous day, and the baby bear started eating it with relish. And sigh. Sejun's back of the head felt hot. It seemed like he would have to prepare eel for Mother Crimson Giant Bear to eat for lunch as well. Thump. Thump. Mother Crimson Giant Bear quickly went on patrol to return for lunch while the rabbits, Theo, Baby Bear, and the black minotaurs surrounded the wolves. Did you attack our representative Theo? We apologize. Oh great black dragon. We did not know that the cat-wandering merchant was a subordinate of the great black dragon. Please quell your anger with my life, the chief of the Silver Wolf tribe. In response to Sejun's question, Elka prostrated himself and cried out, misunderstanding Sejun's identity. Sejun nonchalantly issued orders to the monsters on the 99th floor of the tower, and the monsters, who should be fighting each other, were getting along well. Elka thought that this was impossible unless the existence in front of him was the Great Black Dragon. The Great Black Dragon? As Sejun was about to deny it. The tower's administrator says it will allow you to impersonate the Great Black Dragon. A quest has been generated. Quest: show the wolves of the Silver Wolf tribe the dignity of the Great Black Dragon. Reward: Eileen is happy. If declined, Eileen is disappointed. The tower's administrator cheers you on to show the dignity of the Great Black Dragon. Eileen, who had not yet shown herself as the Great Black Dragon, wanted to vicariously enjoy it through Sejun. What are you talking about, meow? Our President Park is... Ah! Sejun quickly covered Theo's mouth. He would have to benefit from Eileen's favor soon, so he couldn't afford to upset Eileen. Although he had gotten close to Eileen, surprisingly, a relationship could be bent from a small disappointment. Sejun decided to do the quest. And he was not a fool to throw away this opportunity when the tower's administrator gave him permission to impersonate themselves. Yes. You should know how great a crime you've committed by obstructing my work as the Great Black Dragon since you are aware of my identity. Great Black Dragon. We are truly sorry. We really didn't know. Ignorance does not excuse you from guilt. Guilt is guilt whether you are aware of it or not. But I will specially give you the opportunity to be forgiven. Sejun held out a contract. The cost of targeting our representative Theo's life is 10,000 tower coins. If you repay this money, you will be forgiven. What? 10,000 tower coins? How can we repay such a large amount of money? If you don't have it, repay with your body, meow. From behind, Theo, who had been figuring out the situation, quickly shouted. He wanted to say this for sure. Theo thought Sejun looked cool when he said that to Wu Cheon-sam, Minotaur 1003. Repay with our bodies. Elka's head spun at Theo's words to repay 10,000 tower coins with their bodies. The commission with Grid was post-paid, and there was no particular disadvantage to cancelling the contract. But while he was paying off the debt with his body, the young wolves of his tribe who were in the village. Sir, Great Black Dragon, we dare to ask. Our entire tribe will repay the money. Just please don't let us starve to death. Looking at the crops growing in the fields, Elka thought that if they worked under Sejun, they would not starve to death. Good. From now on, President Theos will manage you. You guys, from now on, you need to listen to me well, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo shouted at the wolves. Even though Theo had wondered what was good about becoming a president, he had already conquered Sejun's lap. He didn't want anything more. But, Pooh hut. It seems becoming a president means getting subordinates. Theo was delighted to have his own subordinates. We understand. We will follow President Theo according to the command of the Great Black Dragon. Thank you very much, Great Black Dragon. You have completed the quest. The tower's administrator is overjoyed at the Great Black Dragon being praised. Sejun established the status of the Great Black Dragon, recruited the entire Silver Wolf tribe, and expanded his power.